Please subscribe to this channel and we'll keep the comedy clips flowing. And now...
Please welcome Harun Musho'd! Hello. Yeah, my name's Harun Musho'd. And before I begin, there's a few things that you need to know about me. The first thing is that I'm a political comedian. So this should really be a great time for me to be doing comedy. But it's not, and that's what this set is really about. Because the second thing you need to know about me is I have a very complicated background. I'm half Sri Lankan on my dad's side, half Swiss on my mother's side, half British by birth. That makes me 1.5 people. Or as my doctor recently put it, fat. But my background is actually a little bit more complicated than that because I have a dad who was a Muslim, I have a mum who's Catholic, I had a great-grandmother who's Jewish, and a great-uncle who was an SS concentration camp guard. Yeah, not worth laughing at, it sadly is true. And on reflection, never really that great an uncle either. So, I have such a mix of a background, I don't really know what that makes me, but it has informed my career choices. Because when I grew up, I became a human resource manager. Because I had to find some way of channeling my great-uncle's evil Nazi genes. I didn't really aspire to be a human resource manager, let's face it. No one aspires to be a human resource manager, do they? When I was at school, all my friends wanted to be things like actors and sportsmen and astronauts. One friend of mine wanted to be a tube driver, which I don't really get. I mean, I get if you want to be a train driver, because that's a cool thing to be. You get to drive 1,000 tonnes worth of vehicle. It pays well. You get 50 to 60,000 pounds a year. Yeah, that's good, isn't it? The holidays are good. Only 25 days basic per year, but you do get to double that with rail replacement days off. But you know, tube driver. That's like a train driver, but through tunnels. So day in, day out, you're just driving through tunnels, darkness. It's just monotonous. So the only variety in that job is when somebody steps in front of your tube. Apparently that's better than being a human resource manager. And the tragedy is we human resource managers, we want to be like, don't you? Because the stereotypical image of the human resource manager is someone who comforts and advises distressed employees and then sacks them. It's kind of the two-faced fluffy bunny Gestapo stereotype of human resources. And human resource managers, we never give you a straight answer to any question. I mean, try this at work. Ask a human resource manager any question. The answer will always be prefaced with the phrase, well, it depends. Because human resource managers have two views on any given subject, one to go with each of our two faces. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that your poor kitty is feeling unwell today. But no, you cannot take the day off to take your stupid damn animal to the vet! Is that too racist? Can I just remind you, by the way, that I have just taken the piss out of my own profession using a stereotype that does actually exist in my own family, so I think I'm probably... The final thing you need to know about me is where I do my human resource managing. And it is in a place called the House of Commons. Yeah. And you'd think that'd be a great place to do for a political comedian to work in the House of Commons. But no, indeed it isn't, because apparently I could be dismissed for gross misconduct if I carry out any activity intended to cause serious damage to the reputation of Parliament. And as we were recently reminded by our senior managers, as outlined in our staff handbook, it would be exceptional for permission to be given for any political activity during an election period because of the likelihood of this coming to public notice and the potential impact of the reputation for the House of Commons. So I'm thrilled this is being filmed tonight. And I didn't really need reminding of this particular rule because actually I wrote that bit into the staff handbook myself. Didn't really think that through, did I? So yes, you can't use any of this. Well, you can, I don't care. Because if my employer were to try and dismiss me for gross misconduct, I do have a defence. And it's basically this: am I really bringing Parliament into more disrepute than Boris Johnson? It's a high barrier for any employer to have to get through, isn't it? Thank you very much. My name's Harun Musho'd. Cheers.
Hey you lovely person, please be sure to subscribe to this We Are Funny Project channel. It really helps us to keep bringing you comedy clips, stand-up tips and a whole load more. Thanks in advance.